Hello and welcome back, everybody. I am Kenny Polcari, your host, and today we are once again talking to Luke D'Angelo. Now, Luke is the CEO of AppTech Technologies, a name that I like, I've been talking about, and Luke is here today to bring us an update because a lot has happened since the last time we did our last interview, and I know Luke is excited about bringing this news to us. He's excited about the guidance, and I'm excited to have this conversation to be able to get it out there and bring some of the investors that jumped in up to date on where we are, where Luke is going, what the vision is. And look, the whole Silicon Valley banking crisis issue has only emboldened the technology in that money space, in that banking space. And Luke sits really right at the nexus of it. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Please help me welcome back Luke D'Angelo to the conversation. Luke, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. And since the last time we've spoken, so much has happened. And so you want to, do you want to bring us up to date a little bit? And then I'm gonna ask you some more specific questions. But why don't you just kind of bring the audience up to date on where we were and where we are now?
Kenny, thank you so much. It's good to see you again. The first quarter has definitely had its challenges of excitement and letdowns. I can say that AppTech is definitely in the middle of those exciting times and those bad times. There has been a lot going on in the industry, and there has been a lot at our fingertips that are changing the industry. Banking as a service has basically been, amplified on the benefits on what that can do, especially because of some of the collapses in these banks, Silicon Valley Bank and others. Owning and controlling your own money and your money supply and source is what banking as a service does, and that is what AppTech is helping a lot of our customers achieve, along with some of the extra bells and whistles that it takes to compete in today's market.
Right, but AppTech now, correct me if I'm wrong, AppTech is part of the technology that some of these banks use, right? Like Zelle runs on some of the AppTech technology. Am I correct? Venmo, all those, so Uber, the Uber transfers, all that stuff runs on the AppTech technology.
That's
so
correct.
Can somebody point to this and say that it's that technology that allows people to use their phone and move money instantaneously, right? And we all know that was part of what happened at Silicon Valley Bank, was the ability for people to move money using their phone. So in this case, not that AppTech, not that there's anything wrong with that, AppTech helps facilitate. Now I'm curious if Silicon Valley Bank is a user of the AppTech technology.
They were not a user of AppTech technology. They were definitely their own mission, dealing with the VCs and the VC funded companies up there in Silicon Valley. I will say some of Silicon Valley's customers have been utilizing our intellectual property, and if Silicon Valley Bank was utilizing a lot of our technology, some of their problems wouldn't exist.
Right. All right. So tell us a little bit what's going on now. I think one of the big things that some people keep asking me about is that it was early in the year. I think it was in January where you had that big sale to this one investor. Tell us just a little bit about that. Not necessarily who the investor was, but what that was about, to put people's kind of at ease about why that transaction happened.
So AppTech was approached by our investment bank to ultimately do a transaction, and ultimately the result of this transaction paid off our debt.
Which is a positive.
Yeah, which is a positive. But it turns out, as AppTech was on a good run, the fund just had to liquidate their dollars, and that's what they've been doing. So they were actually a big seller. Which is why there was,
pressure on the stock.
The stock pulled back a little bit. Fundamentals haven't changed. Things at AppTech are better than ever, because 60 days ago, we were basically massaging some of our larger customers. Now we're about to execute, right? And ultimately, in what we've experienced is a couple of also 144 sellers. So the stock has pulled back for not fundamental reasons, but because people are trying to get a little bit of cash out of what they did.
Well, I would also say, and you could say, I mean, look, the stock went from, 85 cents at the end of the year up to better than 5. So I would imagine that's a massive percentage move. So yes, as an investor and somebody who's managing risk and money, I can see how some people would want to take some cash off the table given that opportunity. And it's kind of settled right in here around between 130 and 180. It goes back and forth, but it seems to have found a place to launch now as we move into the second quarter. So what's ahead for AppTech in the second and the third quarter? What's exciting for you that you want to tell these investors?
Fireworks, man. Fireworks are coming. We have had our heads down, and we have been to the grindstone to basically get some of our production executed on and onward and down the road. These are the things that everybody's going to hear about in the second quarter. Some of our relationships, some of our contracts, and most importantly, some of our successes. AppTech has been very quiet because we want to basically announce what we are doing, not what we're going to do. And now that we've had some funding, which has put the afterburners on here at AppTech, and we know what our market risks are from the sellers, we are more focused than ever providing these technologies that companies need so bad to compete in today's market.
So tell us what the announcement was that happened, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago with that Nouveau. What's the name of the company? Nouveau? Nouveau.
So Nouveau is a very large acquirer, and they're based in Canada. And we had a conference actually with them just a couple of weeks ago. And what AppTech is doing is basically formalizing and finalizing our direction with our technology, with their company, not only domestically, but worldwide. Nouveau has a very good chance of being one of AppTech's premier partners, not only because of what we have and what we're going to license to them, but because of the reach they have worldwide will help us close the reach to some of our deals and our customers domestically and worldwide too. It's very exciting.
All right. So just so the audience knows, Nouveau Corp is a publicly traded company. It is Canadian, but it trades here on Nasdaq. NVEI is the symbol. It trades at about $42, trading at $41.95 today. And it is if you look at the Bloomberg description of it, it is a global payments technology business listed in Toronto as well as the Nasdaq, right? It offers an all-in pay-in and payout options and benefits from card issuing. So your technology, correct me if I'm wrong, fits right into what they're offering. And so that's the exciting part for you.
Very much so. There are several companies like Nouveau that need that power pack of products to talk to their customers. Nouveau is one of those companies that we believe our technology not only will enhance their world, but make our worlds together great.
So what did Nouveau actually do? Did they buy X percentage of you?
No, they did not. No. This is a strategic partnership, Kenny.
Okay.
We're basically working on integrating our technology into their mainstay system.
Okay, great. So it wasn't like they own 10 or 15% of you. This is just a contract, an opportunity for you to bring your technology to them and then for them to bring it out to their wider audience, right?
Correct.
Now, are some of your clients also clients of Nouveau? Is there any conflict there?
Yes.
So is there a conflict there or no conflict?
It's not a conflict. It's about bringing it together. It's
right.
about bringing it together and having our customers' needs met, and basically opportunities for Nouveau to go into partnerships because of our technology that they normally wouldn't have.
Right. So you bring technology that they don't have. Am I correct?
Yes.
Right. So you're bringing your technology to their party, technology that they don't have, but they need to use in order to grow their business.
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay. And that relationship has already started.
That relationship has already started. We've had some very good successes out of that meeting that we had with them a couple of weeks ago, which has ultimately led to other successes as well.
Right. Okay. So can you point to any of those, or there's still not ones that you can name out loud yet?
They're very large companies, and soon we will be able to release the news on them, and we're going to have plenty to talk about once it's out.
Right, because as we identified in the last interview you did, your technology already is used by some of the biggest financial institutions in the country: New York Stock Exchange, Bank of America. I mean, you can name the list of big
Verizon, AT&T, Visa, right. Apple, Zelle. Yes.
Uber, they're all using your technology. So it's not as if your technology doesn't exist anywhere. It exists in a lot of places.
It exists in the marketplace as a majority.
Right.
And really what we are doing is we are turning on our technology, and then we're going to license everybody who is using our technology.
Right. Okay.
And that is you know, having over 500 forward citations, as we've talked about, Kenny, it just doesn't happen. You're lucky if you get 5 or 10.
Right.
But with over 500 from so many companies, it makes our job easier getting into the marketplace, signing licensing agreements, and rolling out technology.
Right. So that's news that has to get out there to the marketplace, because that's not news that you can find anywhere. You know, you go searching, it's not out there. So that's why I love doing these interviews with you, because A, you give us some insight into what's happening, and then are able to guide. Because the big thing that the markets want guidance, right? They don't necessarily care so much about what happened, because that's already history. The market wants to know, what are you looking at going forward? We always hear about forward guidance every quarter when companies announce. What are they saying about the next 4 to 6 months? And I think that's what's important with you, is what are you saying about the next 4 to 6 months that you want investors that are already in the name and investors that you're trying to attract to the name? What is it that you want them to know that would be 1 or 2 key pieces that that they should know?
Well, as we've discussed, Kenny, any business that comes to market to AppTech is new market share that we are taking ultimately from others and acquiring for ourselves. That's number one. Number two, with these challenging times ahead in the market, customers and larger institutions need to be able to be agile and make money and offer products that benefit their customers, so the bottom line can happen quicker and more efficiently. And this is the message that we are basically trying to accomplish over the next several quarters with our customers. Here's why, and here's what you're doing that results in working with us. A, you have patented technology. B, it's proven in the marketplace. C, if you license it with us, you can basically head off your competition at the pass. But ultimately, number 4, which is the most important, is having all these tools allows people, large institutions, companies, credit unions to compete at today's standards, right? With electronic and instant transferring capabilities, right?
Right.
At your fingertips, right? That is what we are doing. We are enabling our customers to have those abilities, so they don't have to outsource to 3 or 4 or 10 different people to get one product. We build custom eco solutions for the client so they can excel in whatever industry they are in. It's
right.
that simple.
Right. And so, you know, when you talk about the instantaneous transfer of money, when you talk about every time I use an Uber, it's instantaneous. In fact, Uber, before I can even get the Uber, my debit card is attached to my account. Uber knows whether there's enough money in that checking account to pay for the ride. And if it isn't, it says to you, you're low, you know, you can't go. Right? It knows that information, which is also a little bit unnerving to me, but it does know it, right?
And that's digital banking, right?
That's digital banking.
Right across the wire to see what you have and what you can't do, and it's done in a millisecond before you even know it.
Right, but that's technology that AppTech stands behind. That's the technology that AppTech provides. Am I right?
Yes, correct. Correct.
Okay. That's wonderful. Okay, I think that's perfect. And I think that's important for people to understand, you know, where you sit in that line. And let me ask you one more question.
And Uber and DoorDash and Instacart and Postmates, They fall all under our geolocational and company advertising patents on a phone, right? That's what they were lacking for the longest time, was having that payment system in the back part of the geolocational delivery system.
Right.
Now we're going to bring licensing agreements to all these cats.
Right.
All of them.
Right. I mean, and I use Uber almost daily. I use DoorDash almost daily. I can Venmo my kids. I mean, it's fantastic how the world works today on the one hand. On the other hand, then we're worried about how much information are we giving up? But that's a whole different conversation. That's not about, AppTech. AppTech's about creating a technology that allows this to happen. Let me ask you one more question before I let you go. Are you at all concerned that the banking crisis, if it gets worse, because it seems to have calmed down now, but if the banking crisis should get heated up again, is there risk for AppTech in a banking crisis, or does it only empower AppTech if there's a banking crisis?
It only empowers us. It really does, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we are promoting to our customers to control their own money. Banking as a service. That's what it is, right?
Right.
And as these larger institutions, which we hope don't capitulate, but if they do capitulate, ultimately customers are running to the best way to protect and process their money. So it kind of feeds into what we're doing, because as we tell our customers, when you bank at Wells Fargo or JP Morgan Chase, they have one way for you to do business with them. And you either meet those standards or you don't. So as these other banks kind of blow apart, they're forcing their customers to find alternative ways in finance and processing. And one of those ways is what we have, banking as a service, mobile touch payment.
Right. Well, I think it's exciting. And I think conversations like this need to happen. They almost need to happen more frequently in order to get your story out, right? Because there is not a lot of coverage on AppTech. And I think that's part of the issue, right? So I'm happy to talk to you, monthly, bi-weekly, whatever you want, as often as you want to talk to me, to help you get this story out, because I think it's important. I think you sit at the nexus of really changing the world. I mean, you already have, right? Because the technology's already changed it. But listen, there's changes coming, and your recent partnership now with Nouveau is very exciting. I look forward to hearing more about that and how that's kind of helping you chart the path forward.
Absolutely. We have a lot of other exciting stuff that, as it comes out, Kenny, we're going to definitely talk about.
All right. So as that comes out, we should, you and I should make a date. Just go to our calendar. As it comes out, we should plan on doing another one of these, because I think the news needs to get out there for investors to feel, more secure in saying, hey, listen, I want to commit money to AppTech, and here's why, because I understand what's going on. Right.
Absolutely.
And I have Luke out there giving me all the guidance I need. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate your time, because I know you're a very busy man. So unless there's anything else you want to tell me, have a great day.
The best is yet to come, like Sinatra said. And thank you so much, Kenny. I look forward to talking to you always.
It's a pleasure. I'll talk to you in about a month or so.
All right. Look forward to it. Take care.
Yep. Bye-bye.